Welcome guys back to another video. Behind me you can see another 2.2 Skyactiv Mazda 6, beautiful red color. The owner came for exhaust camshaft inspection and maybe more, and I also want to tell you a few things which are important about these 2.2 Skyactivs in my opinion. So first, now let me switch the camera, show you the engine bay and tell you a bit more about the car. So here is the engine bay. What I've noticed straight away, the drive belt is cracked. You see those cracks, so I will recommend the owner getting that replaced. Another thing, old exhaust pressure sensor. I've already done my diagnosis with a scan tool, but I'll jump in the car and show you or talk you a little bit about that. Well, I'll check that, and it is leading a little bit below than it's supposed to be. Again, I'm going to recommend to the owner to get that one changed. But other than that, the car is immaculate in my opinion. No leaks whatsoever, even from the top of the valve cover. The coolant is the proper color. Let me show you. So that is green, correct level, very good. The intake manifold hasn't been removed because the clamp is facing to the cabin, as you can see. No one has touched the car so far, which is good for us because no one messed up anything, to be honest. Yeah, so the car looks lovely. Also, it has like a low mileage or low-ish mileage, around 80k, so that's nice, that's fine. And now let me jump in the car and talk a little bit about it and about the Skyactiv and my opinion on the Skyactivs. Okay, so back to the car. I checked the diagnostics. Only thing I noticed that the exhaust pressure sensor readings are like low. Other than that, the car is fine. So the injector correction factors okay, oil pressure perfect, very good. I've checked that. Checked the DPF. It had just recently the region, and the numbers of the differential pressure are quite low, so very good. And even when I rev it around 2000 rpm, they are still low, so that is good. But now back to the Skyactiv, the 2.2 especially, because there is 1.5 Skyactiv as well and petrol. Anyways, we are talking now 2.2 Skyactiv diesel. I tend to receive in comments that these are shit engines, bad design, bad everything. My problem with that is who was the first owner, or who were the owners? How did they maintain the car? Did they do everything what they could to maintain the car properly? Because usually what I see, or what we see, is people neglecting their cars like to the latest point, till it throws up a bunch of fault codes, dashboard lights, everything, and they just abusing it and expecting to work all the time, and they don't want to treat them right, don't want to give them what they need. So let's start with oil. I don't know, to be honest, the service interval for oil, like what Mazda says when you should change the oil. We recommend every 5,000-6,000 miles or a year. If you believe in long life oil, you can like quit this video already, because it's not going to be for you. Like I used to give an example. So if, let's say, you make a French fries in an oil, and you do it 5 times in the same oil, they may be good. If you do 10, the quality of the fries will degrade. So imagine that's going to be the same with your engine oil. So if you don't want to eat the fries made in old oil, why would you expect the car to behave the same or run the same with old long mile oil? The oil heats up, so the cycles, they heat up, then they cools down, and it degrades the oil, the quality of the oils and lubrication. That's the first thing, that's key. So if it is dry, it's not working properly. I guess if you ask your missus, she will agree with me. So yeah, lubrication is important. So if you change the oil if you exceed it more than 10,000 miles, you already lost the purpose, or like the point or the argument. You can't change, you can't let it go or be more than 10,000 miles, even though we recommend just the half of it. Anyways, I only thing I can fault Mazda for these engines is the camshaft, because that's not supposed to wear. But here is a little bit of a tricky part. The Skyactiv, one of the features of the Skyactiv is it wants to get the engine up to temperature the quickest way possible. So it uses those cam lobes the most, because in one cycle, so engine is 4-stroke engine, this one, and so in one complete cycle, usually the exhaust valves open only once, but on the Skyactivs, every second valve opens 2 times during one engine cycle, because that redirects or lets the exhaust gases go back to the intake manifold, and hence heats up the engine. So it can reach in very short period of time the operating temperature, which is 70 and 80 degrees, between 70 and 80 degrees of engine oil temperature. So, and also the rocker arms, there is like a slider on the rocker arms, and then there is the other surface, so where they wear out. And when they wear out, it uses that tougher surface when it makes contact with the camshaft. So that's why it wears out. I can do a separate video on that if you want. And also Mazda upgraded the camshaft later on, I believe from 2016. I'm not 100% sure on that. So they upgraded that. And the problem with that, if the camshaft wears, imagine that extra heat can't escape, and it will heat your engine even more, and it can lead to head gasket issues in the long run. So in our workshop you can see a lot of Mazdas, mostly Mazdas. Does that mean Mazdas are bad because we only have Mazdas here? No, it doesn't mean. Let's say it's the same. If you go to a BMW dealership or garage who specializes on BMWs, you will see BMWs. Does that mean they are bad? No. The same, Volkswagen. If you see a lot of Volkswagens in a shop, in a workshop, does that mean they are bad? Yes, but only that's the exception to the rule. And I only say that because Dan used to work in a Volkswagen dealership for a long time, and he's not here. He's not in at the moment. He's late. So yeah, that's why I'm saying I don't really like the VAG group. But anyways, get back to the story. So next thing, let's say the exhaust pressure sensor, there is upgraded version of it. Yes, that goes bad. Mazda knows about it. They upgraded the sensor. You can replace it. The pipe gets blocked. Again, has to be cleaned. Carbon buildup. I can tell you, Mazda is not the only one having the carbon buildup. Every modern car which has direct injection EGR, they will have the carbon buildup. So you can't avoid that. Mazda, you can actually drive these ones quite long until it throws you a fault code. I don't know if that's a good thing. It should have thrown like the fault code earlier or later. It is how it is. Let's say, even I know for BMWs, because I've got 3, so if you have a BMW, you have less carbon buildup. It won't give you a fault code, but it will run rough. So that's how you know. But anyway, so every modern car has the carbon buildup. You can't avoid it, unfortunately. That's the direct injection and the EGR and the emission, like the standards they have to meet. The oil pressure. The oil pressure is caused by very cheap parts, or the oil pressure problem is caused by very cheap parts, which are the injector washers. So everything starts from the top. They get warm, let the combustion gases enter the cylinder head, like underneath the valve cover. Also fuel is mixing with oil, makes like oil sludge, and when it gets solid, it builds up around the injector holes. Then it gets washed down, becomes solid in the oil pan, blocks the strainer. Again, you don't know that you have to change it. I guess it's not an excuse, unfortunately. Let's say if someone doesn't know that has to change the clutch still will wear out. You can't really like make that excuse. I understand it's not that obvious or people don't know about it, but unfortunately, like those are washers. Again, let's say if you don't change the washer, the crush washer on your oil drain plug, it can leak. again, whose fault is that? Is that the manufacturer's fault that you didn't change it, or the mechanics or who didn't change it, whose fault it is? Let me know in the comment section. But yeah, other than that, let me tell you what this one's going to be about. So I'm going to remove the valve cover real quick because it, as I said, it came for the inspection. I suspect, just because of the year, like 2013, it will have the worn camshaft. But other than that, this car is in very good general condition. And the owner, like, I don't know when he bought it, but he was thinking of selling it because of the horror stories that he read on it. To be honest, I wouldn't recommend him to sell it. Get the camshaft changed, get the carbon cleaning done, and he can enjoy the car. Maybe the next oil change, he can get the oil strain inspected, but according to the diagnostics on the live data values, it seems perfect. Again, you know 100% when you visually see if the strainer is blocked or not. But without further ado, let me remove that valve cover real quick, show you the condition of it, and then you will see further what's going to happen in the video. So 30 minutes later, the valve cover is removed. The injectors look like very good. They look clean, as you can see, like the tips and the nozzles. Let me show you the cylinder head. It looks good as well. Like you can see that like yellowish, brownish, goldish color on the oil shower, which is good. It's not supposed to be black. So it had oil change, I would say, quite frequently, or frequently enough. It absolutely looks good. No tiny bit of like a build up which already started to develop, but nothing major, nothing crucial, nothing bad. As I expected, the camshaft is worn. So if you have a look at the last lobe, there you can see, so the material is missing. Basically it has a lip. Let me try to point it with the screwdriver. So the screwdriver just falls in there. It's not supposed to fall in there. It should be flush. That's that's when it means it is worn. So yeah, I'm going to take a picture for the owner, tell him what we noticed. I'm going to recommend him getting the exhaust pressure sensor replaced, the carbon cleaning, and the same way unblocking that pipe underneath so that fireball can escape or come out from the side. And yeah, the drive belt, that's what I'm going to recommend to him, and we will see what he agrees on. But yeah, other than that, let me contact him and I'll be back to you with his decision and the following or the next steps.